Well, welcome back, everybody. Today's lesson about pasta. This is one of the things that I learned in culinary school 17 years ago that I used constantly. There are some things, I learned how to make consommé. Have I made consommé in 17 years? No. In the areas that I worked, I didn't work in those restaurants where we made consommé. Some things you kind of learn, you're glad you know it, you don't really use it, depending on where you work. For me, I didn't work in places that made consommé. Did I make pasta? Absolutely. This is one of the things that really impacted me from culinary school, and it's one of the things that really enables you to express your creativity when you make pasta. A basic dough we're going to make today. We'll show you how to lay the dough out. We'll show you how to make fettuccine, how to make different ravioli and stuff like this. And trust me, this will follow you throughout your career because it's a really, really cool thing. So pasta today. Many school children thought that it was Marco Polo, right? Marco Polo, Marco Polo. It was Marco Polo that supposedly went to China and brought back pasta. Yeah, this wasn't the case. He might have done some amazing things, but pasta was in China long before Marco Polo's time. This is one of the earliest foods, being able to simply mix flour with egg or water, turn it into some kind of dough. Every culture has a dough that you stuff something in. Italian, it's ravioli. Samosas in India. Empanadas in Mexico and in Spain. I could probably go on and on and on. Burritos. Every culture has something that you take and you put a dough around it. And in Italian culture, as it's come to be known as ravioli. Pierogi in Slavic countries. Potato knishes. I mean, on and on and on. Every culture has this. But some of these pastas go all the way back to Roman times. And the first Roman noodle was called Lagne. Lagne. Lagne was a Roman noodle way back when. What word does that look similar to? Lasagna, sure. So you start to see the derivation of some of these words. It was the early origin of lasagna, and it was common in the 1st century. So our basic pasta dough, if we're going to serve 3 to 4 people, let's say, with basic pasta dough, we're going to use 2 eggs and 1 cup of flour. 2 eggs and 1 cup of flour for 3 to 4 people. So our basic formula, always remember this, the 3 to 4 people. And you know the way that I remember it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you remember 1, 2, 3, 4? Counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 cup of flour, 2 eggs serves 3 to 4 people. And you can remember that to the end of your life. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pasta 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 cup of flour, 2 cups of eggs feeds 3 to 4 people. Now here's the thing, when you start to take baking classes, you're going to learn a lot more about flour and different types of flour. White flours, wheat flours that are ground that are white flours, they have proteins in them, all right? Through moisture and agitation, you develop what's called gluten. Gluten is moisture and agitation. So you're making a bread dough or a pie dough or something along those lines. The more you mix it, the more you agitate it, the more you work it, the tougher it gets. This is really, really good for a pizza crust, right? You want a chewy pizza crust. This is really, really good for a bagel, right? You want a lot of gluten developed, so you mix these things a longer time. A bagel is supposed to be chewy. French bread, you're supposed to tear from, right? But how about your white bread loaf? You don't want that chewy. How about nice soft dinner rolls? You don't want them chewy. So white flour, talking about white flour, enables you to develop this gluten through moisture and agitation. But in pasta, do we want gluten? Do we want a really chewy pasta? No, we want a very delicate pasta, right? So we need a different flour. You can make pasta with white flour. But when you add the egg to it, we're going to get, what? Coagulation of proteins. And when you mix the white flour too much, you develop this gluten, so you get a chewy dough. So what winds up with your ravioli? A very chewy, kind of pasty ravioli. The flour we use is called semolina flour. Now the good thing about semolina flour is it doesn't have the same proteins of white flour. So you can mix it and mix it and mix it and you don't ever develop gluten. so you don't ever get a chewy pasta. So we're going to deal strictly with semolina flour today. It's a very yellow, kind of coarse, grainy kind of flour. All right, so our basic formula: 1 cup flour, 2 cups eggs, feeds 3 to 4 people. We put a cup of flour, we put 2 whole eggs in there, you mix it all up, you make your dough, you put it in some boiling water, or you steam it, or you deep fry it, or whatever you want. Why then do we get that nice bite on the pasta? Why does the pasta come together? Why does the pasta hold together in that regard? Because of the eggs, because we get coagulation of protein. So imagine those egg proteins mixed up with flour, expose them to heat, and at 165 degrees in the dough, they stiffen and shrink a little bit. This is what gives you your texture to your pasta. Also, eggs act as glue. Anytime we're going to do ravioli, put a bottom sheet and a top sheet. We're going to brush it with some egg wash, and this will act as glue for us. So we're going to make basic pasta dough today and try and make different kinds of pasta.